This is Top 30.
I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and we bring you 30 stories in just 30 minutes. According to a 2017 survey by the Nationwide Retirement Institute, 78% of Americans over 50 are worried about Social Security running out in their lifetimes. But the good news is the program is healthier than most people realize. Ever since Social Security was created, there have been more people paying into the system than people taking money out of it. Any surplus money is put into the Social Security Trust Fund, which is managed by the Department of the Treasury. Assets are only invested in securities backed by the US government, meaning they can't lose value. But it's true that the program does face challenges, especially as the US population ages and people have fewer children. The ratio of contributing workers to beneficiaries has fallen drastically, and some experts predict Social Security surpluses will stop around 2020. So while the situation isn't as bad as people fear, changes will most likely need to be made to keep Social Security solvent for generations to come.
Brandon Jovanovic, a former college football player, spends his days methodically working out his arms, chest, and legs. All the while, he's constantly singing. And it makes sense, given he's a professional opera singer. Brandon told USA Today, "It's funny, I don't think people think of opera as physically demanding, but singing takes a lot out of you." Indeed, the art form pushes singers to their physical limit. Some operas stretch on for hours, and the actors need to sing challenging music, tackle choreography, and effortlessly portray their character. It's like a musical marathon. Recently, Brandon performed in one of opera's most challenging pieces, Wagner's Die Valkyrie. It's 3 acts broken up by 2 30-minute intermissions. The whole runtime is almost 4.5 hours. And even though his character dies halfway through Act 2, Brandon is physically exhausted by the time he leaves the stage, proving opera is the Olympics of performance.
Time for a Top 30 health roundup. Waist size is a better predictor of the risk of heart attacks than general obesity. A new study found doctors using the waist-to-hip ratio were 18% more successful at predicting heart attacks in women, 6% more successful in men. Researchers said the data shows looking how fat is distributed in the body, especially in women, can give more insight into the risk of a heart attack. The CDC says 1 in 14 women in the US smoked while they were pregnant. The percentage was highest in West Virginia, with more than 25% of women saying they had a cigarette while carrying a child. The number was lowest in California at less than 2%. Researchers say the rates vary not only by state, but by age, race, and education level. Research shows that your diet not only impacts your physical health, but also your mental health. Many people think comfort food like chocolate and ice cream help mental health, but new information shows that the opposite is true. In fact, results from a study show the long-term effects of eating fruits and vegetables regularly can reduce depression later in life and improve a person's mood. Good nutrition also positively impacts the immune system, which can influence mood as well. And that is today's Top 30 Health Roundup.
The XFL is coming back after a nearly 20-year hiatus, and it's trying to learn from mistakes made when the league debuted in 2001. Back then, the league had fewer rules and promoted a rougher game. Ratings for the first week were much higher than expected, but the poor quality of play and connections to professional wrestling caused ratings to plummet, and the league folded after just 1 year. So the head of the league, WWE CEO Vince McMahon, says the new version will have major changes. There won't be gimmicks, and the focus will be the play on the field. And the goal is to make each game 2 hours and a customizable viewing experience for fans. So far, cities for teams, TV contracts, or even rules have not been announced, but McMahon wants to play the first game in 2020.
Welcome back to Top 30. Parents who are expecting typically preferred having a boy over a girl, but that trend seems to be changing. Kristen, you've looked up some of the data on this. What's it say?
Well, first of all, for my 2 cents, as long as the baby's healthy, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Who really cares? But that's me. Okay, so between 1941 and 2011, several studies revealed 40% of people who could only have 1 child.
In America?
Yeah, in America, would prefer a boy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this has deep roots.
But to be, that's still a minority, but actually it was only something like 26% preferred a girl. And I think most people had no opinion, right?
Okay, yeah.
But more people wanted a boy than a girl.
Yeah, that's safe to say.
My mum was like Henry VIII, right? You know, it had to be a boy.
Yes.
She would have practically disowned. It's all she cared about. And I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
But certainly in England, I mean, literally until recently, it was only the boy that became king, and maybe that just filtered down to everyone as a principle.
I did find interesting in several of these studies, you know, there are certain things you can do to choose the sex of your baby nowadays. And when people could choose, they would most often choose girls. You have a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
I have a boy and a girl. I honestly think they're both the same in terms of easy, hard.
Yeah, I'm sure, right.
How about this story? Tim Allen says he's open to a reboot of his hit show, Home Improvement. Nothing is officially set for a revival, but the conversation is being had. Have you ever seen Home Improvement?
Nope.
Really?
No.
Tim the Toolman Taylor, Pamela Anderson was the tool girl.
Was Pamela Anderson in there?
Yeah.
Was she?
She was like super young, yeah, super young Pamela Anderson. There was a neighbor with the fence named Wilson, and you could only see his eyes. Do you remember Wilson, you guys? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No idea what you're talking about. So to me, if they reboot it, it'll be a new show. It'll be brand new programming.
That'll be great.
I mean, with the reboots, they're often not quite like Will and Grace came back, but it wasn't quite as good as last time round.
Roseanne is coming.
Roseanne, I mean,
back.
yeah, it's too soon to say with that one. I was watching Old Friends the other day, and it was just so fantastically good.
Yeah,
and there's
so
those,
good.
you know, those fans who say, you know, reboot it. And I just think, no, don't bother in a way, because the legacy is good enough. And in a way, you slightly undermine the legacy of the show as it was.
I totally agree.
When someone is a loner, it usually has negative connotations, but new research suggests that being introverted can actually be quite good for your health. Yeah. I can see why that is as well. I mean, there is the science that shows that being social is very good for the brain, that the brain almost has a need. Being in the presence of someone else forces the brain to focus.
Yeah.
But actually, the absence of people forces the brain to relax, to daydream, and actually to be more creative.
Yeah, and you have more time to be creative and explore your craft and devote yourself to it. So it makes sense.
I'm an inveterate socializer. I just need to be around people all the time.
That's how my husband is too. I'm not. I need my alone time.
Okay, so I need
it.
Okay, I need my with people time.
Yeah.
And me and your husband should hang out. And so I think people like me almost need the effects of meditation to still the brain, but actually I can see the power of being a loner. And there's a certain self-confidence in not feeling like you need to be friends with lots of people.
Obviously, this study isn't talking about extreme isolation when you're never around people. But there is a time and place to be, you know, more introverted. And if you need your alone time like me, take that time.
Exactly. And meanwhile, give me your husband's number. I'll take him on a night out and completely corrupt him.
Oh,
I'll ruin him.
Don't, please don't.
This is Top 30. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A new study puts a dollar amount on your personal information after it has been hacked. The dark web market price index was created by the internet privacy company Top 10 VPN. Criminals on the dark web pay just $15 for Apple iCloud credentials. Passport information costs about $60, and PayPal logins are about $250. The PayPal one is interesting. I'll come back to that. And this is I guess, the real terms effect of when we talk about people like Equifax being hacked. You know, when data gets stolen?
Yeah.
That in itself has no value until someone sells it. So what happens is with PayPal, this is interesting. Say you've got money in your PayPal. What hackers can do is they can get your login and your password, and then on the dark web, they sell it to someone else.
What's shocking to me when I look at figures like that and when I look at this study as a whole is how easy it is for people to get a hold of your personal information and how many routes that these hackers can take to capitalize on your info. I mean, the study broke down different places: PayPal, eBay, Airbnb.
Well, Netflix account, anything, where they get you.
Incredible.
But it's also, but the point as well for me is that you don't have to be a hacker.
Yeah, there are things that we can do to watch out for to protect ourselves. You know, experts are saying that you will never get an email directly from Apple asking for your social security number, your mother's maiden name, credit card numbers, or CVV codes. So look out for emails asking for your personal information. Don't give it. It's almost always fraudulent.
And here's another thing you can do to protect yourself is by never going on the internet and keeping all of your money under your bed.
All right, I'll get on that. Meantime,
Do.
A new study says that people whose parents push them into dieting will push their own kids to lose weight. Researchers followed subjects from all different backgrounds, from adolescence to adulthood, and not only was that pressure passed down, but doctors say it has a negative effect on kids' health.
Can't imagine why.
I know, right? It makes sense. Kids who are pressured will then in turn pressure down the line. A lot of things can happen as a result of parents pressuring their kids to diet. I mean, it can lead to obesity, dieting, binge eating, engaging in unhealthy weight control behaviors. If you're genuinely concerned, experts do recommend positive conversations. Instead of focusing on weight, focus on healthy eating. Like if you eat this way, this way, this way, you're gonna be strong and healthy. Positive reinforcement.
It's great these reports come out, but if the parent isn't being rational in the first place, they're not going to listen to the rationality of a report like this, is essentially the problem.
Yes, it is. All right, to be continued. Top 30, I'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, life at college can be tough when family and friends are far away, and counseling appointments can be hard to secure.
There was more students who needed help than we could possibly accommodate.
So researchers at the University of Florida in Gainesville developed Therapy Assistance Online, or TAO. Students can have access to online self-help as well as virtual face-to-face sessions with campus counselors. Now, other colleges are using the program so everyone can get the help they need. Our next story from Fox 4 Dallas. Carl Springer is a retired school superintendent, but a chance encounter has him back in the classroom. Carl was in line at the bank when he began a conversation with a woman who happened to be the principal of Anne Frank Elementary School. She spoke to him about volunteering, and now he can't imagine life without it, spending 4 days a week helping fourth graders learn math. Test scores have gone up, and the students couldn't be more thankful.
Thank you, Mr. Springer!
Our final story from Fox 7 Austin. The San Marcos Police Department has welcomed their newest recruit, a 13-month-old border collie mix named Sheldon. Sheldon is the department's first therapy dog.
Just to have somebody touch the dog, it tends to relieve the stress and the pressure.
And while the original intention was to help calm victims or witnesses, officers have experienced benefits as well.
The cops around the building and the dispatchers and the other employees love seeing Sheldon.
Looks like a dog's unconditional love is healing for everyone. According to the American Academy of Family Physicians, our bodies begin to shut down when our temperature exceeds 104 degrees. Drinking water and wetting your skin is the best way to prevent overheating, which is why we've got today's top 30 solution, a spray misting water bottle at a special 70% discount. This high-quality water bottle comes with a spray misting function to keep you cool while exercising. The spray misting water bottle is BPA-free and made with 100% eco-friendly plastic. It's available in blue, pink, and green. The spray misting water bottle retails for $29.99, but today you can buy it for just $8.99. That's a 70% discount. You can get this right now at luluway.com while they last. The relationship between police and communities they serve can sometimes appear distant, but one New Jersey police department is trying to change that with a simple game. Mike Jarek from Fox 29 in Philadelphia joins us with more. Mike?
Kristen, let me tell you about this police department. It's West Hampton, New Jersey. So once a week, they invite a bunch of kids in and they play video games. It's the kids versus the cops. And it's just a bonding experience, try to improve the relationship between the citizens and the police officers. So far, everybody's loving it. Especially the parents say the relationship between the police and their children has really improved.
And Mike, how are the kids responding so far?
Well, initially, there was a little bit of a blowback there. The kids really didn't want to participate because maybe they didn't trust the police or whatever. But after weeks and weeks of playing, especially Xbox video games, everything's changed. The relationship between the police and the kids has really improved.
And all because of video games. That's pretty amazing. Thanks, Mike.
Biologists are warning fishermen about a dangerous species of catfish. Texas wildlife officials say they caught a batch of armored catfish swimming in a Houston bayou. They're warning fishermen not to throw these fish back in the water because they're so destructive. The armored catfish burrows into banks and lays eggs in 18-inch holes, which can destabilize the soil, increase erosion, and decrease water quality. Biologists believe the catfish found in the Houston Bayou were originally sold in pet stores when they were just 3 inches big, but they quickly grew to more than 20 inches long. And to add insult to injury, the catfish has a thick layer of belly fat, and it doesn't even taste good. A new study conducted at the University of Pittsburgh says people who started smoking marijuana during adolescence scored just as well on memory tests and sometimes better than people who've abstained from the drug. The study, which was conducted on a sample of 28-year-olds, also found that parts of the brain that became impaired in the group that smoked was inconsistent from person to person. This led researchers to believe how smokers scored on the memory test was due to a variation of factors and not just marijuana use. The study's lead author, Brendan Turvo-Clemens, said, "I think we're ruling out a straightforward explanation that adolescent cannabis use is bad for the brain." Turvo-Clemens says he's planning on conducting a follow-up study to further examine the relationship between marijuana and memory. If you want to get drunk on the Vancouver Police's dime, then this is your dream gig. The Vancouver Police Department are looking for volunteers to get drunk under their watch so they can train new recruits on how to conduct field sobriety tests. An email distributed to the department's Neighborhood Watch program with the subject line, "Volunteer drinkers needed," was sent out saying they were seeking 8 to 10 volunteers. They'd be given shots of hard liquor and provided with a free pizza lunch and a drive home. Those interested were asked to reply to the email with their drink mixer of choice. Hopefully this will be coming to a place where each and every one of us live soon. NASA is testing new wings on planes that actually fold while in the air. The wings are designed to fold to different angles depending on the speed and wind. For commercial airlines, that would allow the plane to be more aerodynamic, meaning a smoother flight and increased fuel efficiency. For supersonic planes, ones that fly faster than the speed of sound, the folding wings would reduce drag and allow for higher speeds. The wings are made out of lightweight material called shape memory alloy, and different temperatures trigger that alloy to change shape. NASA says more tests are planned for the folding wing, and the final goal is to be able to move each wing by 70 degrees, both up and down.
According to a new study published in the journal JAMA Neurology, repeated wake-ups in the night could be a sign of Alzheimer's. Adults with fragmented sleep cycles tend to show a protein buildup of amyloid plaque, which is found as an early warning of the disease. While studying the sleep cycles of 189 cognitively healthy adults, researchers found that 50 of those with Alzheimer's-related proteins showed disrupted sleep. Obviously, they're not saying that fragmented sleep will necessarily lead to Alzheimer's, but it is good news for scientists to know that fixing poor sleep habits could lead to improved brain health down the road.
The average American spends $1,200 a year on junk food alone, and some public health experts want to charge people more, hoping they'll eat less. In a new study, researchers from NYU and Tufts argue for implementing an excise tax on junk food. Unlike a sales tax, which would hit customers at the cash register, this type of tax would be levied directly on manufacturers. They, in turn, would likely pass that cost on to consumers in the form of higher prices. The goal of the tax is to push people toward healthier food options. And Americans do need to eat better. According to the CDC, more than 1 in 3 adults are considered obese. Although this measure is unlikely to gain much traction in the current political climate, junk food taxes have had success in countries like Hungary and Mexico. So while the idea may be controversial right now, researchers hope that it will become less controversial in the future. A new service may soon allow people to go through a normal day without ever leaving the comfort of their own home. Take a look at a product called the Chameleon Mask. For a fee, you would be able to basically rent a human to wear this mask and do everything from go to work to go to a dinner party without ever leaving your house. The screen is a live video feed that allows you to see what the person wearing the mask sees, and you can also communicate in real time with people you virtually come into contact with. There have been similar products which rely on robots, but the creator says this is the first that uses a human to wear the mask, making the interaction more natural for the person on the other end. There's no official launch date yet, so for now you'll still have to attend those daily work meetings in person. And to be honest, you're probably better not going at all than sending someone with an iPad strapped to their face. It's no less offensive.
Thanks for watching. You can catch up on past episodes of Top 30 now on Hulu. You can also download the Top 30 mobile app and visit our website. We want to hear from you, so connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to @Top30TV for interviews and exclusive web content. We'll see you next time on Top 30.